Well, that was David Lewis reporting there. And staying on this story, I'm joined in the studio by Pedram Afshar, who runs a business called eClosure that helps people close or memorialise the social network of their families. So can you tell us firstly, how did this idea come about?
I was a relationship manager at a major bank, and one of my colleagues passed away at work. And about 4 months after that, I received an automatic notification on my LinkedIn account to congratulate him on 4 years of service at the bank. And that had a really big emotional impact on me. And I discussed this with my business partners, who is a solicitor and an accountant, and we decided to do something about it.
So for viewers who might not know, LinkedIn is like a professional social networking site.
Correct. And you know, it has a multitude of status updates that come around. So if there's a work anniversary or a new job that a person has, the connections within LinkedIn would receive an automatic update.
So how does the process start in your business?
Sure. So we mainly deal with customers who've had someone pass away and see the need to take these accounts offline. Customers can do it themselves, but because there's a multitude of accounts, so there might be an account for LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and email accounts, they all have their own specific policies to close down these accounts. And why they approach us is because we efficiently close down a multitude of accounts in one simple form.
And how challenging can that be, particularly in the absence of having the passwords, for instance?
It actually is very challenging for families. Again, as I mentioned, each particular service has its own procedure on how to close accounts, and also we've got to be mindful that Facebook's been around only for 10 years. It's going on 11 years in February, and that is just throughout that time people have accumulated so many different accounts and online social networks, and it's a constantly changing platform, so it can be very difficult to deal with them. Some of them are better than others in dealing with deceased accounts, generally the more established ones, but we find that there is online services that have absolutely no deceased policy. So there is a multitude of different ways and pitfalls.
So there are a couple of ways families can handle this issue, but is there a problem perhaps when, say, a Facebook account could be misused and attract unwanted comments? Do you have any experience of that sort of thing?
Correct. So Facebook accounts can be, we all hear about the trolling cases that happen, and some examples can range from a young girl was driving and she crashed and killed her best friend. The best friend's friends then went onto her Facebook account and trolled through. And being a parent or someone that is close to that person who's passed away, and being faced with those things, it's really problematic and doesn't help with the emotional grieving process that they're going through, having lost someone, and it's particularly hurtful.
So does that mean then that consumers need to think not only about what they're leaving behind in a physical sense, but also online, and perhaps include instructions in their will?
Correct. So instructions in their will, it's really important to actually plan for a lot of these things. And as I mentioned, Facebook been around for 11 years. It's not part of the practice. We do our insurances, we take care of our finances, but we leave all this information behind. And it's two reasons you want to take action against that information. Is one, it can be susceptible, as we've heard in that piece, to identity theft. And the other issue is the constant emotional reminder. So these social networks obviously work on updates, and the constant updates about a person's status or relationship status or whatever can have a real emotional impact on families.
So you really need to think about that digital footprint.
Yes.
Pedram Afshar, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you very much.